Okay, so I'm in an attic and I'm going to run through what I look for in an attic. So one of the first things I look for is the insulation. This house has a large attic, easy access. I can stand right up in it. Interesting, half is sheathed and half is open. So in this half I can see the insulation. It's got a lot of insulation, which is nice. It's all packed in there tightly, which is good. However, on this side, it is open, and for some reason, insulation is kind of spread around. So a contractor probably came up here, did some work at some time, and just never reset the insulation. It's not a big deal. I would call it out, but the insulation looks to be in good shape. It basically just needs to get put back in. The chimney, I see some efflorescence on the chimney. I don't know if you can really see it. I'll kind of shine it, but the white chalky stuff on the brick, that's from water getting the chimney wet, and it pulls the salts out of the concrete. The water evaporates and the salts are left on the surface. It could be from the original construction. That chimney was built before the roof was put on. It got wet, it rained, and it effloresced. Or it could be a leak. I'll have to test that area with my moisture meter. If it's dry, I'm thinking it's probably original from construction, not a big deal. If there are wet areas, though, potentially could have a leak issue, and I'd call that out. This is an old air exchanger here. I would turn that on from below. That just basically exchanges air, brings air from the outside in and stale air inside out. I don't go in depth into those, but I would make sure it worked. Then I look at the framing. So this is a conventionally framed house with lumber. Instead of manufactured roof trusses, we have framed conventional framing here. And the framing is good. The members are the proper size. The sheathing is good. In this case, it's plywood. And I'm looking for leaks, mold, gaps, broken wood. So I guess right here, I got a little gap here. Let's see. It looks like just some staples have come out. That's not a big deal. I might call that out. I don't think that's really too much to worry about. Same thing over here, 2x6 construction, really nice, clean. I don't see anything major there. Venting, I'm looking at the venting. So these little white foam things, those are baffles. And this is a vented attic, so it's cool up here. It's November. And that's pulling air from the outside through the eave, comes up through those baffles into the attic and goes right up. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a gap there at the top of the sheathing, and there's a ridge vent. So outside on top of the shingles is a ridge vent, and that allows air to escape out the top. That's a good thing. So this is a nicely vented attic. So you want your attic to be vented so that it doesn't get too hot or too cold, which can affect your roof, your shingles, the life of your shingles. So that looks okay. I do see an extra, but it looks like it's just extra, I guess. It's not I saw a loose one there, but it's just extra. But it looks like there's baffles in every bay, which is good. There's electrical up here. This is bad. I see an exposed wire. I can't test it because they've already told me that the power is off up here. They're doing some work downstairs. But either way, that's an exposed wire. I need to call that out. That can't be there. That should be removed. I'm not really a big fan of this round light bulb fixture on a square box. I would want that fixed too. Again, that's minor compared to the live electrical wire potentially, so that's a big deal. That's an old antenna. That's not a defect in any way. There are collar ties. I look for collar ties. These are on every run, which is good. They're properly nailed, which is good. Access. So we have a nice stair access. This is rare, which they didn't They look to be secure. There doesn't seem to be any issue there. There's a nice door which is insulated. Again, you don't see that very often, which is nice. There is a railing on two sides. I would almost want a railing here, I think, and I'd call that out. I could see someone being up here. You could potentially back right down that. So maybe adding a railing there is, it's again, not a huge deal, but I'd call it out, see if the homeowner, make the homeowner aware of it, I guess. That's really what I'm looking for. I don't see any insects, any animals. I can look for, animal waste or tunneling, or a lot of times you'll just see dead insects. I do not see that up here, which is a good sign. So this is a pretty clean attic. Oh, in fact, I see another. I don't know if you can see that, but there's another exposed wire over there. So 2 exposed wires are the biggest defect I've found up here, but otherwise a nice attic.